Let's go.
I'm going to go ahead and just speak some truths, if you don't mind.
Yes.
Because my understanding, based on reports I'm getting from campaigns and communities, is that we have not yet seen the same kinds of energy and turnout in all quarters of our neighborhoods and communities as we saw when I was running.
Obama looks like he is fresh off a vacation, like he's been interrupted from a vacation, and he has to come down and talk to the dumb Negroes and tell them who to vote for. All right. That's the disposition I'm getting from him. Like, it looks like we have here a failure to communicate. All right. And they just taking it.
Now, I also want to say that seems to be more pronounced with the brothers.
The brothers? Oh, we brothers now. Well, brother. Proceed.
So if you don't mind, just for a second, I'm going to speak to y'all directly.
All right.
And say that when you have a choice that is this clear, when on the one hand you have somebody who grew up like you, knows you, went to college with you.
He's trying to think of something. He's like, damn. The problem with Obama, the many problems with Obama is, well, let's start with Kamala first. Kamala's such a bad liar. She makes like politicians, she like really give politicians a bad name because a good politician is a really good liar. All right. And there's none better than Barack Obama here. All right. So her lying is so bad that he has to come down and try to, expose himself, for not being genuine by trying to like influence. And I know this has to be like this is probably why he took so long to endorse her, because he knew he had to do this.
Understands the struggles and pain and joy that comes from those experiences. Who's had to work harder and do more.
Man, he's a good speaker.
And overcome and achieves the second highest office in the land.
Achieves? Wow. If my memory serves me correctly, she achieved it? Or did Joe Biden say he was going to select a black woman, which in itself is racist? Okay. And the fact that just blows by everybody's mind, like this. And then they get offended when they say she's a DEI, I think that's what it's called, hire, when that's what he said before he chose her. All right. So, she didn't achieve anything. She was selected.
And is putting forward concrete proposals to directly address the things that are vital
What?
in our neighborhoods and our communities. From
Hey, you just making stuff up.
housing to making sure that our mothers and our fathers and our grandparents can afford medicine. And
Look here, niggas, just vote for Kamala. That's what he want to say.
making sure that we are dealing with prices that are too high and rents that are too high and are committed to.
Yeah, the rent is too high. Who's in power right now? Who's been in power for quite some time? The rent's been high.
Is committed to making sure that we maintain the Affordable Care Act. So everybody's got help here.
And I don't like people running on fear mongering. I mean, like, both sides have a degree of which they do it. But every time, they give us reasons not to vote for Trump. Trump says what they'll, he says what he wants to do versus They just say, hey, anybody but Trump. Okay. I don't know. I'd rather deal with the devil I know rather than the devil I don't. All right.
Cares about things like
because they both have their issues. All right. But one is clearly not qualified.
Education and entrepreneurship in our neighborhoods. And that's on one side. And on the other side, you have someone who has consistently shown disregard, not just for the communities, but for you as a person. And you're thinking about sitting out?
Trump will actually sit down with people who oppose his views. That's the one thing. She's going to sit down with Charlemagne the God and all these different people. That's an echo chamber. And when I don't know a subject, I like to see the two people that I don't agree with talk and then make up my mind that way. But when the other person is only going to echo chambers, all right, and needs a script, needs a monitor and all these different things, that is insulting to anyone's intelligence.
But, you know, Cousin Pookie might be. And you're coming up with all kinds of reasons and excuses.
I really admire his ability to command the room when he talks, though. He's one of the better speakers. But I mean, how can you put gold on what's the analogy? You know, like putting a hat on a pig or something like that. This is a really, I'm not saying Kamala's a pig. I'm saying like, this is like, they have to go to these extremes during the campaign. Instead of saying what they're going to do, they're too busy just talking about Trump. They're not talking about how crime is going up and how cities are falling. The border, they do talk about that. They don't touch on it much. There's so many issues when I watch these debates and they don't address them. They're talking about trivial things that most of us, it's not even a day-to-day issue for us. Some of it is, most of it isn't. As far as my opinion, the major issues with America. So yeah, let's keep it going.
I've got a problem with that because part of it makes me think, and I'm speaking to men directly now. Oh. Part of it makes me think that, well, you just aren't feeling the idea of having a woman as president.
Oh. You went there. All right. Should women lead? Okay. That depends on your religion. That depends on your morals, your ethics. Okay. Should women lead? You know, what does our money say? In God we trust. What is the order of God? That's all I'm going to say.
And you're coming up with other alternatives and other reasons for that. And so now you're thinking about sitting out or even supporting somebody?
I grew up a middle-class kid. My mother was hardworking. She raised me and my sister Maya. She saved up, and it was only by the time I was a teenager that she could afford to actually buy her first home.
Sound familiar? We've heard this stuff almost word for word previously, and no matter what the question is, have a listen.
When we talk about bringing down prices and making life more affordable for people, what are one or two specific things you have in mind for that?
Well, I'll start with this. I grew up a middle-class kid. My mother raised my sister and me. She worked very hard. She was able to finally save up enough money to buy our first house when I was a teenager.
I know you say that your values have not changed, so then why have so many of your policy positions changed?
I grew up a middle-class kid raised by a hardworking mother who worked and saved and was able to buy our first home when I was a teenager.
When it comes to the economy, do you believe Americans are better off than they were 4 years ago?
So I was raised as a middle-class kid.
So if you struggle with that, I'm going to help you out with my opinion on what it looks like to me. Okay. Now, Kamala Harris, in the first video, she covered her mouth and she asks if they're live. The reason why she wants to know if they're live is because her interviews in her own echo chambers are usually edited to make her look like she's a better speaker. And they kind of edit the videos to like whenever she's like being redundant or like doing a lot of word salad, they'll edit that part out to make it seem like she's a faster talker, because typically if you can speak, very well, then that's like a sign of your intelligence. Not always, but in most cases. So they don't want her blabbering on like an idiot, and it doesn't look good for the campaign. So I saw another video where she was talking, and she, by the way, she didn't have a headphone in her ear or anything that we can see, which means, there was rumors that she was being told what to say during the debate, which I totally got that anyway, because again, if you're going to stall for time, then what you're going to do is, while they're talking to you, is talk really slowly and repeat the same script while they're talking to you so you can say it word for word. And it takes a lot of practice, because I don't know if I could do it that quick the way she's really good at it, even though she's getting made fun of for it. But yeah, she is being fed what to say. That's why it sounds the same. It's like she's listening to an audiobook and then they're giving her talking points and telling her what to say. And when she's off script, she talks a lot different, and she laughs a lot more. She makes herself, I make myself laugh too. I can make myself laugh when the camera's off. I sometimes think of things and I'm just a little weird like that. But yeah, she laughs and she has a completely different disposition when she's going off the cuff versus when she is, in my opinion, listening to the earpiece. So that there is just one of the many reasons, in my opinion, that I saw right through it from the beginning. And, it's crazy that I was shocked that, I know the election is still some time, but I was just shocked at all the support. I get you love your party. And this is why I never joined any party, a Democrat or Republican party. I think that to be independent, because people vote like it's their football team or something like that. And I wouldn't even care. I wouldn't care if I didn't have a son. If things got crazy here in America, I just get a passport. I just go, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? So, but it's not easy to do, to uproot when you have a family, when you have a son, and that I love very dearly. So I think more towards the future now than I ever have before in my life. So that's probably what got me into politics. And I could be wrong. God forbid she does become elected, that I'm completely wrong about her. I'm open to being wrong. I'm not one of those people that dislike someone because of their political views, because for most of my life, I've fed into the propaganda. And again, there's still issues on both sides. I'm not saying that one side is like this righteous side. I have big issues with both sides as a black man in America. You know what I mean? But, I vote based off policy. That's what I do. And that better suits my family. And that's my opinion. But one thing I can't stand is someone who's not genuine. And I don't like that. That's just me, at least make the politicians look good. They're typically pretty good at lying and diverting the topic to forget, not answering questions. But I need to see my leaders sit down and have an unscripted conversation and have the battle of the wits. I like to watch that stuff for fun anyway, so when one refuses to talk to, she won't go on the PBD podcast, and she won't go on Joe Rogan. She won't go on a lot of these different podcasts and talk to them. She's going to go on the echo chamber. She's going to talk to maybe Charlemagne or somebody like that. So I want to hear you talk to Trump. You're supposed to, Trump's big old bad scary Trump, talk to him unscripted, or at least not Trump. They only can talk when they debate. Forgive me. Talk to someone who is on the right. Okay. That is respectful. All right. That is, so it's a respectful, healthy conversation. Talk to someone like that. Don't talk to people who agree with you. That's cool too, but I like to listen to both sides and make up my decision from there. Excuse the, again, I'm not the greatest commentator, but I definitely can see a genuine person when one's in front of me. Look, if Kamala is only willing to talk to people that her and her party agrees with, then that means she's only speaking to a percentage of the country. That means when she gets in office and has power, she's only going to pass things that benefit that percentage of the country, because she won't even sit down and speak with the other percentage of the country. At least Trump, when he's talking, he's an equal asshole to black people and white people. All right. He's an equal opportunity employer, but they spin it as racism. And prior to him running for president, he was one of the most well-liked celebrities. Rappers were, putting him in their verses, trying to get him in their videos. He was in one of my favorite movies, Home Alone. Of course, he's had some disparaging things, and he hasn't carried himself in the manner that I think a president should carry themselves. But I think that he's gotten a lot better at that. But he is who he is. But most of all, I know he's patriotic. I know that he loves this country, in my opinion, from what I can see. So that's enough for me. On top of, if we're going to play this, they're even in the same league game? Okay, if we're going to play that game, because how I feel about it, and also to address Obama, why doesn't he use his influence, his fame, his popularity to empower black brothers? Okay, like he could stop so much crime in Chicago with his influence. Because black people, and I hate to say it, but I speak frankly, black kids, black people in general, they idolize celebrities. Obama is a celebrity. If he actually showed a lot of black kids in the hood that he cared and pushed things, even, instead of vacationing all the time, every time, and getting rich, he's not doing anything to benefit the brothers, so it's just really insulting and disappointing. If he is doing anything, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen a presence or a news story of Barack Obama using his influence, his power, anything to benefit his own city, in my opinion. But that's just me. I was going to say, regardless of who you're voting for, that if the zombie apocalypse happened tomorrow, if Zombieland or anything like that, if they rose up tomorrow, we would all band together as humans and fight those zombies and put aside our petty differences. All right. But that's not true, probably because I watched too many seasons of The Walking Dead. And I realized that there's going to be different cliques of crazy people fighting each other even then. Maybe that's just our nature. I don't know. Or just the way culture has shaped it. But my take on it is, I think regardless of who you are voting for, to remember that if you are a U.S. citizen, that the United States is home with all its flaws, and you want to protect home. You want to be careful who you allow in your home, and you want to put your home first, not other countries, not all these people that's flooding in, with all the people suffering within the United States that are not being addressed, from healthcare to the people that can't afford to live. Okay, they can't afford to have their own place because the prices of everything is increasing. So that's just one of the many policies that has me voting a certain way. And yeah, that's my take on it. But I still can appreciate someone if they have a difference of opinion. This is just my opinion. I could be wrong, as I'm always open to that. But I haven't seen anything yet that has changed my mind. All right. So I appreciate you guys. I appreciate your time, as your time is very valuable, and hope you guys have a great day. Peace.